Answer. General Studies Mains Mock Test 1052 2018. 1. The location of iron and steel industry depends on a multitude of factors. Discuss with examples. Also account for the gradual shift of the industry towards coastal regions over time. Approach. In the first part of the answer, write down various factors which determine the location of iron and steel industry. Provide examples to substantiate. Finally, discuss the reasons for gradual shift of industry towards coastal regions with examples. Answer. The iron and steel industry forms the backbone of the industrial development, and its location is determined by various factors such as raw material, near iron ore mines. To reduce the transportation cost, industries are located near mines with iron ore, manganese, limestone, dolomite deposits. For example, Rohorput in India and Kuznets Basin in western Siberia. Near coal fields. Inefficiency of railway engines during the Industrial Revolution times made it cheaper to transport iron ore to coal fields, not vice versa. For example, Appalachian, Pennsylvania in USA, Wuhan in China. Transportation. Location near coastal regions reduces the cost of transporting raw material usually imported from port to factories. For example, Chicago in USA, Visakhapatnam in India. Modern technology, such as electric smelters, open heart system, etc., have helped in shifting the steel industries away from coal and iron ore reserves by making efficient use of scrap metal and also reducing energy requirement. For example, Bhushan Steel Plant in Ghaziabad. Industrial inertia. Industries continue to be located in the same area despite decline of locational advantages, e.g. depletion of raw material. For example, Ruhr in Germany, Pittsburgh in the USA. Developmental policies of government for backward regions. For example, Galata and Salem plants in India. Strategic reasons. After World War II, the USA and the USSR adopted a policy to not allow the concentration of the industry in one region. Thus, in the USA, some plants were set up in the western region, such as California, and the USSR in the eastern side towards Pacific coast. Over time, iron and steel industry started shifting towards coastal regions, such as steel industry in Osaka, Kobe, Japan, steel plant at Visakhapatnam, Ratnagiri, and the coastal cities of the USA such as Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago. The reasons are: depleting coal resource in mainland changed economics of cost of transportation of raw material versus that of finished product. Near ports, steel can be exported and raw material can be imported with ease. To www.visionis.in copyright Vision IAS. 2. Identify the regions being impacted by desertification in India. Bringing out the major reasons for it. Analyze the effectiveness of steps taken to combat it. Approach. Write a basic definition of desertification in introduction. Then try to bring out areas/regions being impacted by it in India. Then elaborate some of the major reasons for increasing desertification in India. Finally, give the steps taken so far in combating it and analyze the effectiveness of those steps. Answer. Desertification is land degradation in arid, semi-arid, and dry subhumid areas resulting from various factors, including climatic variations and human activities. In India, a rough estimate by environmental reports tells that nearly 30% area, i.e. 96.4 MHA out of 328.7 MHA is degraded or facing desertification. In 8 states, Rajasthan, Delhi, Goa, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Nagaland, Tripura and Himachal Pradesh, around 40% to 70% of land has undergone desertification. 26 out of 29 states have recorded an increase in the area undergoing desertification in the past 10 years. Desertification occurs due to both anthropogenic and natural factors, which can be summarized as the following: soil erosion due to land and water. It is responsible for around 16% of desertification in India. Even mining leads to erosion of soil nutrients. Vegetation destruction by deforestation and overgrazing to accommodate the need of growing population accelerates desertification. Farming practices, agricultural activities in the vulnerable ecosystems along with excess use of water, fertilizers and pesticides leads to erosion of nutrients, increased salinity resulting into desertification. Urbanization and land development projects, these put huge pressure on land which is expected to grow further in future. Climate change. As the days get warmer and periods of drought become more frequent, desertification becomes more and more imminent. India, being a signatory to UNCCD, has taken many steps to combat desertification, such as National Action Program to Combat Desertification, Integrated Watershed Management Program, National Afforestation Program, Fodder and Feed Development Scheme, etc. However, the gradual increment of desertification shows that steps taken by the government have not been very effective. This can be attributed to reasons such as shortage and weakness of institutional and human capacity, lack of dedicated funds, need of coordination among concerned ministries, disproportionate attention to planning and implementation, etc. Thus, government intervention needs to be streamlined with equal focus on both curative and preventive measures, which needs to be then periodically reviewed to check the impact on desertification. 3. www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IACE. 3. Assess the changes in distribution pattern of the golden fiber industry in India over the past half-century. Also, giving reasons for its decline, enumerate the measures that the government has come up with in order to revive it. Approach. Briefly introduce the golden fiber crop and mention why it is called so. Outline the shift in distribution of jute industry over the past half-century in India and reasons for the shift. Enlist the reasons for decline of the jute industry in the country. Mention the initiatives taken by the government to arrest the same. Conclude your answer with few suggestions and measures. Answer. Golden fiber. The jute is popularly known as the golden fiber not only because of its golden silky shine but also being a cash crop. Its industry makes for a profitable economic venture. Next only to cotton, jute is the cheapest and most important of all textile fibers, due to its versatility in usage. Geotextiles to apparel, carpet, decorative items, upholstery, home furnishings and other features like softness, strength, length, luster and uniformity. Distribution pattern of jute industry after the 1947 petition. The jute producing areas went to Bangladesh first, while East Pakistan, whereas most of the jute mills remained with India. Starting with the World War II, jute industry has been losing ground to synthetic fibers, and over the past half-century, jute industry in India has seen many fluctuations. India has lost its position of being largest exporter of raw jute to Bangladesh, while it still remains the largest producer and consumer of jute products in the world. Currently, jute industry is distributed in states of West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, and Uttar Pradesh. Shifts in jute industry of late. The jute industry has witnessed following changes in distribution. West Bengal has lost its industrial significance and many industries are either lying sick or have closed. Due to overcrowding in traditional belt of Hooghly, the industry has been shifting along Pangba River in northern plains. Also, Kolkata is no longer an important international port. There has been marked shift towards Godavari Delta, as this region has developed paper industry which uses mixture of jute and sabia grass as raw material. Demand of jute from urban areas, apart from traditional uses like sugar, wheat and rice packing bags. This has led to shifting of industry near to the market. Places like East and Andhra also meet the natural requirements of jute industry. Cheap labor is also available. Decline of jute industry. Moreover, Indian jute industry has witnessed decline due to 8. Supply side constraints. 1. Shortages of raw material domestically as major producing areas now lie in Bangladesh. 2. Inability of mill owners to upgrade their product according to the trends in the market. 3. Due to strong trade union movement in the traditional jute producing region, the investors shifted their money to other regions and even in other ventures. 4. Instability in jute prices due to erratic production of the crop. 5. High input cost of production due to lack of upgradation of machinery. B. Demand side constraints. 1. Tough competition from synthetic packing materials of the advanced countries of Europe and North America. 2. Emergence of substitutes and wide-scale adoption of containerization and development of plastics. For www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IACE. Measures taken. Jute Packaging Mandatory Act 1987 with an objective to protect the jute industry. National Jute Policy 2005 for state-of-the-art manufacturing. Jute Technology Mission (JDM) was launched in 2006 for R&D into all dimensions of the industry. National Jute Board Act 2008 gives statutory backing to National Jute Board for taking measures for all-round development of the industry. Jute Corporation of India provides support to jute farmers through minimum support price (MSP) operation whenever the raw jute price falls below the MSP. Way forward, as jute industry is highly labor-intensive and eco-friendly, it needs revival in an increasingly environmentally conscious world. India should leverage this opportunity by revisiting its raw jute procurement and export policies, renovating and modernizing the production machinery, diversifying the product range, improving the quality, and developing new products. Fourth, with appropriate examples of Footloose Industry, discuss its significance for India. Approach: explain Footloose Industry using relevant examples. Highlight its significance for India. Answer: Footloose industry is a general term for an industry that remains merely indifferent to locational aspects of business, such as material resources, markets, or transport. These industries often have spatially fixed costs and are not affected by transportation costs. Thus, a wide range of locations is possible within an area of sufficient population. Some examples of such industries, like bakery, watch manufacturing, electronics, diamonds, etc., use very wide range of light raw materials, and thus, the attractive influence of each separate material diminishes. Similarly, IDNIs can be established anywhere where the physical infrastructure and workforce is available. Characteristics of Footloose Industry. Significance for India. Solution to regional disparities. Such industries can bridge regional disparity as their development can be influenced by appropriate policy and governance measures like tax rebates, physical infrastructure development, land acquisition, and law and order situation. Southern states have used such policy measures to develop ID industry, while northern and eastern states are yet to leverage same. 5 www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IACE. Employment generation potential. Heavy industries are capital intensive, but Footloose industry is generally labor intensive. Thus, it has immense potential to create employment. With decentralization, textile has practically become a Footloose industry, with huge labor absorption capacity. Boost to development of skilled populace. Footloose industry needs skilled workers to serve on quality and productive jobs. Thus, it incentivizes the development of colleges, training institutes, apprenticeship courses, etc. in a given region, e.g. proposed Indian Institute of Skills in Kanpur. Boost to growth of allied/related sectors. It boosts overall economy of the region by growth of related sectors like hospitality, real estate, recreational activities, etc. For example, establishment of IT offices has boosted development of nearby areas in Maharashtra. Development of agglomerations. Suburban land is often cheaper. Out-of-town surroundings and easy access to workers in suburbs provides ideal location for building business parks. It also helps in decongestion of cities. Exports potential. Such industries have huge potential for exports. For example, the diamond and other industries in Gujarat have led to its emergence as one of the largest exporting states in India. Environment friendly, since such units are relatively less polluting, lesser environmental costs are associated with these. Thus, it is important that the center and the states pay attention to this sector. States must improve ease of doing business. Center must support through skill development, credit schemes, etc. specific to various Footloose industries. A coherent effort can only help realize the true potential of this sector. 5. India has a long way to go in identifying shale gas-rich basins and acquiring the necessary technology to extract shale gas. Discuss. Approach. Briefly outline the potential of shale gas reserves in India. Discuss the status of discovery of these reserves and the problems in extracting shale gas, especially the lack of technology. Conclude with the way forward. Answer. India is among the largest consumers of energy in the world, but it is not endowed with abundant energy resources of its own. High reliance on imported energy imperils nation's fiscal stability and energy security. Therefore, revolution in shale gas extraction can offer some relief. Reserves in India. The study by the United States Geological Survey (USGS) has estimated recoverable resources in 3 out of 26 sedimentary basins in India. The Ministry of Petroleum has identified 6 potential basins of shale gas in India. These are as follows. Basantarakan Basin, Gondwana Basin, Damodar Valley, Krishna Godavari Basin, Kaveri Basin, Kambi Kambat Basin, Indo-Gangetic Basin. There is still scope for further identification and confirmation of these resources. 6 www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IACE. Technological challenges in extracting the shale gas. Horizontal drilling. Shale rock is sometimes found 3,000 meters below the surface. Therefore, after deep vertical drilling, technology is needed to drill horizontally for considerable distances in various directions to extract the gas-rich shale. Technology for hydrofracturing. Extraction of shale needs the injection of water and other chemicals in the gas-bearing rocks at very high pressure for creating fissures in them. The process of using water for breaking up the rock is known as hydrofracturing or fracking. Indian firms lack sufficient resources and capital for this process. Resource assessment. Ascertaining true potential is a challenge in the face of lack of funds and unattractive government incentives. In addition to the above-mentioned technological challenges, shale gas extraction would need readdressal of the following issues as well: regulatory and environmental framework. Shale gas production results in large-scale water contamination. Availability of open land. As compared to natural gas, shale gas production needs large tracts of land for exploration and extraction. Water availability. The use of huge amount of water in extraction process is a challenge for water-starved India. Rationalization of gas prices. This is required to boost investment and investors' confidence. In view of stagnant oil and gas production and rising import dependency, it will be well worth the effort to address the above challenges to exploit our shale gas prospects. The recently adopted hydrocarbon exploration and licensing policy helped 2016 by the Indian government, providing for unified license and other attractive measures to show the way forward. 6. Plastic waste is a major environmental and public health problem in India, particularly in the urban areas. Elucidate. Can the plastic waste management rules 2016 help in addressing the problems related to plastic waste? Approach. In introduction, highlight the status of plastic waste in India and use of plastic in urban setting. Write about the harmful impact of plastic waste on environment and public health. In the last part, discuss how the provisions of the new rules can help in addressing the issue. Answer. India is among the top 10 global consumers of plastic. Plastic products have high utility due to its inexpensive, light and versatile nature. However, being non-biodegradable poses complex environmental and health problems. 7 www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IACE. The consumption of plastic is way more inert in India as compared to the rest. Plastic carry bags are one of the main sources of plastic waste. Furthermore, the majority of plastic recycling units are located in densely populated urban slums. The wastewater produced in recycling units is directly drained in water bodies. Impact on environment. Plastics choke water bodies, which impacts aquatic life. Plastics serve as nuclei onto which other harmful hydrophobic substances like DDT, hexachlorobenzene swords. By way of ingestion, these nuclei bioaccumulates in fish and other marine species over time. Due to buoyancy, plastics act as vehicle for introducing invasive species to new habitats. Impact on public health. Bioaccumulated plastic enters the food chain and has adverse health impacts. Plastic bags, containers and blocked drains, gutters become breeding grounds for mosquitoes, which cause malaria and chikungunya. Plastics contain chemicals like phthalates and flame retardants, which affects the endocrine system adversely. Toxic monomers may cause cancer and reproductive problems. Ever-expanding landfills becoming breeding ground for pathogens and become a public nuisance. Burning of plastic waste produce hazardous dioxins. Plastic waste management rules 2016 will help in addressing the problem in the following ways. Stipulation of 50-micron thickness for plastic sheets is likely to increase its cost by about 20%. Hence, the tendency to provide free carry bags will decrease and collection by the waste pickers will increase. The introduction of the collect-back system of waste generated from various products by the producers/brand owners of those products will improve the collection of plastic waste, its reuse and recycle. Manufacture and use of non-recyclable multi-layer plastic will be phased out. It clearly identifies the responsibility of waste generator segregation, payment of fee for plastic waste management, etc., and that of retailers and street vendors. The prescribed options on reuse of plastic in various applications, namely road construction, waste to oil, waste to energy, will enhance the recycling of plastic. However, the implementation of the rules in the letter and spirit is the key to get the desirable outcomes. 7. Energy efficiency in buildings need to be at the core of India's urbanization strategy. Comment. In this context, elaborate the significance of Energy Conservation Building Code BC 2017 approach. Briefly discuss the energy constraints arising out of rapid urbanization. Discuss how energy efficiency in buildings will be critical in this regard. Discuss the significance of ECBC in improving energy efficiency. Answer. India has been witnessing rapid urbanization, with 40.76% of the country's population expected to reside in urban areas by 2030. This implies an increase in the demand for energy for housing, transportation, industry, lighting, etc. Being an energy-deficient country, it is critical that we conserve our energy resources by moving to more efficient energy usage standards. Globally, the building sector accounts for 42% electricity usage, which is more than any other sector. Energy-efficient buildings are less expensive to operate, more comfortable to live in, and more environmentally friendly, thus diminishing the impact of unmindful urbanization. 8. www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IAS. The Energy Conservation Building Code BC 2017 compares very favorably with international best practices, and if implemented correctly, could make new buildings producers of electricity rather than simply consuming energy. BC provides current as well as futuristic advancements in building technology to further reduce building energy consumption and promote low-carbon growth. It sets parameters for builders, designers, and architects to integrate renewable energy sources in building design with the inclusion of passive design strategies. The code aims to optimize energy savings with the comfort levels for occupants, and prefers life cycle cost effectiveness to achieve energy neutrality in commercial buildings. With the adoption of ECBC 2017 for new commercial building construction throughout the country, it is estimated to achieve a 50% reduction in energy use by 2030. This will translate to energy savings of about 300 billion units by 2030 and peak demand reduction of over 15 GW in a year. This will be equivalent to expenditure savings of Rs 35,000 crore and 250 million tons of CO2 reduction. Thus, the ECBC is significant for energy efficiency in buildings, as it has the potential to bring convergence between urbanization and sustainable development. 8. How does the PATH scheme make efficiency in energy consumption attractive in energy-intensive industries? Examining its performance so far, suggest measures for improvement. Approach. In the introduction, briefly describe and write about the objective of the PATH scheme. Explain the advantage for the industries in the PATH scheme. Discuss the outcome of the schemes. Suggest measures to further improve the outcome of the scheme. Answer. Perform Achieve Trade PATH is an innovative, market-based trading scheme announced in 2008. It aims to improve energy efficiency in industries by trading in energy efficiency certificates in energy-intensive sectors. The 2010 Amendment to Energy Conservation Act (ECA) provided the legal mandate to PATH. Its benefits are: energy-efficient investment would enable industries to save at the minimum 5% of their estimated energy cost. A reduction in input energy cost enhances the global competitiveness of Indian industries. It reduces the industry's vulnerability to availability and price volatility of fossil fuel energy resources. In contrast to other renewable energy certificates, there is the absence of floor and ceiling prices for energy-saving certificates issued under this scheme. Recently, the government has presented the data about the first phase of the scheme, which ended in 2015, according to which the scheme has contributed to an emission reduction of 31 million tons of CO2, which has resulted in saving of Rs 37,685 crores. Exceeded the target set, resulted in saving of energy equivalent to 8.67 million tons of oil. Also led to investments of Rs 24,517 crores in energy efficiency measures. Measures for improvement. Deepen the coverage in the existing sectors like iron and steel sector, pulp and paper sector, etc. Broaden the coverage by bringing more and more energy-intensive areas under the scheme. Bureau of Energy Efficiency needs to play a more active role of mentor to the industry. Strong monitoring and reporting system to build confidence among stakeholders. 9. www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IAS. 9. Air quality in Indian households, especially in rural areas, is lethal due to a number of factors. In this context, highlighting the challenges faced in improving indoor air quality, enumerate the measures that can be taken to address them. Approach: define indoor air pollution while mentioning its sources. Mention the impact of indoor air pollution, especially in rural areas. Highlight the effect of indoor air pollution on health. Discuss the challenges faced in improving indoor air quality. Suggest measures to curb/mitigate the problem. Answer: indoor air pollution is the degradation of indoor air quality by harmful chemicals and other materials. Its principal sources are combustion, building material, and bioaerosols. The health impacts of indoor air pollution are outweighing those of outdoor air pollution in developing countries. Reasons for indoor air pollution in India. In developing countries, majority of the rural population still uses unclean energy resources, like wood, cow dung, coal, etc. Incomplete combustion of biomass fuels emits suspended particulate matter, carbon monoxide, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, etc. Poor ventilation leads to accumulation of harmful pollutants inside the premises. Indoor air quality also becomes a greater concern during the winter because cold temperatures and stagnant air have a way of creating the buildup of pollutants near the ground, and people tend to stay inside with poor ventilation for longer duration. Indoor tobacco smoking and passive smoking. Because of non-metal roads and muddy house floors in rural areas, there is huge amount of dust particles in air which adds to air pollution. Indoor air pollution causes several adverse health effects such as pneumonia, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, etc. Challenges in improving the indoor air quality. Variable choice of fuel for combustion and traditional stoves, depending on local availability, makes it difficult to execute programs aimed at making people switch to more eco-friendly fuel. Lower rate of adoption of non-traditional stoves due to lack of awareness, design complications, higher maintenance costs, higher price elasticity, lack of better insight into the contextual and psychosocial factors on part of policymakers behind the sustained use traditional methods of cooking, lack of research to assess the exposure levels of indoor pollutants. Overbearing emphasis only on outdoor air pollution. No intersectoral approach towards clean household energy practices. Measures needed: large-scale distribution of cleaner fuels to enhance their usage through schemes like Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Public awareness towards severe health consequences of traditional fuels. Modification of the design of cooking stove and incorporating traditional factors, local norms and practices into its making. The National Biomass Cookstoves Initiative under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy 2009-10 is an example. Improvement in ventilation through house design. Intersectoral coordination and global initiative. Tackling indoor air pollution, especially in rural areas, in an opportunity to improve health, reduce poverty, and protect environment. 10 www.vision